Hey everybody, Jim Malone here, coming to you live from Dallas Trading Floor. Well, it is a Wednesday, and the market has moved higher based on the stimulus talks. So, interesting day today because it was down earlier. The market was down earlier, but it looks like it has rallied a little bit on the news of the stimulus potential from Chuck Schumer, who is the, of course, leader of the Senate. So that has rallied some of the stocks. Interesting rotation going on out of some of the tech names. Tesla's still down, of course, and Apple is down. But I have been rotating the small portfolio into more sort of cyclical stocks. I've made several buys today. Just a few minutes ago, I bought Ford as it went above the 12.14 buy point. And of course, it's the stock of the day, so I want to show you that. Also, I did make a buy on a company called Mosaic. It's kind of an interesting company. What they do is they're in the fertilizer business of all things, but there is a shortage right now of fertilizer. We're going to see some inflation, it looks like. Oil prices are moving up as well as some of the food prices. And of course, one of the key inputs for food is fertilizer. So the company, it's called Mosaic, symbol MOS. We'll see what happens on it. I also bought a position in an oil service company that has been way beaten down. I hope I didn't make a mistake on this one. A company called Halliburton, very famous company. But as we're going to probably see some more action in the oil patch, it looks like that might be a place to also look for some bargains. So without further ado, let's kind of get into some of the slides here and give a good look on that. So the first key thing here, of course, is the market direction, and we are still in a confirmed uptrend, which is hard to believe that we still are, but we are in a confirmed uptrend. And currently the Nasdaq is at 13,553. But the real story of the day is not the Nasdaq; it's the Dow Jones Industrial, up by 1.21%. Now, I am very much of a directional trader, so I'm always looking to see kind of what the what the situation is with with the direction of the market. And currently, we are still in a confirmed uptrend, though the margin accounts have been moving upwards. So we may see a reversal, but at least for right now, this is a tough market to trade. At least for right now, we are in a confirmed uptrend. So that's kind of the story there. We have the stock of the day, and I just kind of want to show you this. Is an interesting stock, of course. Everybody's heard of this one. Oops. Well. Okay, there we go. We're back. All right, a little bit of a glitch there. So let's do it this way, because this will make it easier. Stock of the day is Ford. Interestingly enough, and I was able, fortunately, to buy it right at the buy point with a buy stop limit order. And of course, if you're this is basically what's happened is that this is been going through what they call a 3-week tight formation. This is a good formation because it usually pretends once the overhead supply is out, usually it makes it move higher, and it definitely has. So they're basically, I'm a little bit early into the stock at the 12.14 level, but at the end of the week, we should have an entry at about 12.25. This is an interesting stock, of course, because now it has this emerging pattern, so 3-week tight pattern, and it also has a very high composite rating for essentially a legacy stock. I mean, this is a stock that I've never owned before, so we'll see what happens. I did pretty well in Tesla. I'm not giving up on Tesla, but I do think we're going to see a pullback maybe into the 600 range for Tesla. Ford, which is going to come out, which is going to have a lot of electric vehicles coming out, is a whole lot better price than NIO and a lot of other companies. And this company can, of course, really deliver. Of course, they do have the number one selling vehicle in the United States, which is the F-150 truck, and that's still selling well. After about 50 years, that's still selling well. So they should be pretty profitable this year, hopefully. but they do have a lot of EVs coming out. So this is one of the reasons why I initiated a trade with Ford. Hopefully I won't regret it, but it's looking pretty good right now. Also wanted to show you a chart of the spider, the Dow Jones spider. This is the diamond, the DIA. That's the symbol it trades under. Interesting here because we did have such a movement up. It's basically almost knocking on the door of 320, and that's tremendous because it has moved right up the right up the line here. And so that's looking very, very good. It still has, of course, a relative strength of 40. Now, here's the thing about the Dow Jones. This is one of the reasons why, we had Boeing moved up so well today. This is a lot to do with the fact that the Dow Jones moved higher. It's because Boeing has moved higher. And of course, Boeing is the largest exporter in the United States. So thanks for hanging on for that. And let's get to some of the questions here and see what we can do here. Okay, so first question up today is on CGC and Dish. Should I buy more Overstock or close my position? Let's look at Overstock first. Let's just kind of take a look what we have for Overstock. Pulling up the charts right now. There we go. And I'm looking at Rent-A-Center. That's one of the ones I did recently enter a position in Rent-A-Center because I do think they're going to do well in a reopening economy. But let's look at Overstock here. That's OSTK. And let's look at Overstock. Well, okay, here it has violated the it has violated the 40-day line. Now, if it reverses and moves higher, then I think it might be good. The relative strength is 98, which is excellent, and the relative strength is starting to pull back. You know what? If you have good profits on this one, I think you might want to take about 50, at least a third off here on this, because I do think that we're coming into a situation that might be a little bit more challenging for Overstock. I just want to kind of look at the 30-minute chart to see kind of how it's been trading. Yeah, it's been trading downward today. So, here's what I would say on Overstock. Let's look back at the weekly. Yeah, it's still really good, but where it really, in order to buy it, you really have to be above this line. Is about 120. So, here's my recommendation on that. I would sell 1/3 of position. That's what I would do. I would sell 1/3 of the position, and that way I think that you're going to be, if it moves lower, if it moves below the 200-day line here, that's the 200-day line. It's this black line, and it doesn't bounce, then I think you want to kind of sell it out. But for right now, if you have good profits, sell out 1/3 of the position. It's pulling back. It looks like it's going to pull below. It looks like it may bounce on the 40-day line, but it looks as if it is pulling back. So that's kind of my take. That's kind of my take on it. Let's see if we have a question from TikTok. Going up here again. A lot of people join the show. What's going on with GameStop? Let's look at GameStop. This of course, if you've been following me, I was talking about how I was trading GameStop with stops. I'm out, of course, of it right now, but let's kind of go to the monthly chart to kind of give you a weekly chart. That's probably the best. And the thing is, it just went so off the charts. Okay, well, it's pulling back up again. I don't know about this. You could get into this at this point. I think it's highly dangerous, though. I do think this is highly dangerous right now, and I think there's other places to go. But I'm going to kind of zoom out a little bit on the chart. Let's see if we can see a little bit more of it. There we go. Okay, so it pulled way back, and now it's pulling back up again. I just think if you're not in this one, the The only true way you can play it is if you were to buy it here, at about 85, and then as it went higher, move your stop loss up. But other than doing that, I think it's going to be very difficult. So here's my recommendation on it, at least for right now. Come on there, baby. Hopefully I'll get a little bit of a. There we go. Well, not coming back to the banners. So let's see if I can. Yeah, there we go. Just adjusting the camera there a little bit. Okay, so let's take another one, and let's look at Dish to see sort of how Dish is doing. I haven't been in Dish Network. Yeah. I've got a relative strength of 4. That's just really not that good. So let's look at it. Yeah, and let's go to the daily chart here a little bit so we can kind of see that. It's been very choppy. It's pulled below the 200-day line. So therefore, but it looks like it's pulling back up to the. If there's a reversal off here, you possibly could buy it. But let's see if it's even worth buying. I just don't think it is. Though it's got a 6 out of 9, so it's got a 66% checklist. That's not bad. Let's look at the ownership. Ownership is, it's staying pretty steady, which is good. But the industry rank is really not good. Here's the thing. I just think they're better. I just think there are better opportunities out there rather than this one. I would be at this point, Will. I think I would probably not be in it because this does have a trend, and the trend is downward, unfortunately. So this is a stock that I think you want to possibly, I think you possibly want to, avoid this stock. I really do. I think you want to avoid it. I think there's I just think there's better opportunities out there rather than this one. So that's my take on it. So let's see if I can. There we go. I think that's a little better. The cameras are lining up there a little bit better. So let's take a look at Tesla. Thank you very much for holding on here. Let's look at Tesla, see what we can find out here. TSLA. And we're going to look at Tesla. There we go. Okay. Well, it's bounced. It is bounced a little bit. Let's zoom in a little bit on this one. See if I can. There we go. And pull over that chart. Okay. So basically this is the situation with Tesla. I'm going to have to ignore that right now. Here's the situation with Tesla. As you can see, we had let's pull it. There we go. There we go. Now we can see it. Okay. We pulled way down here. We had, it bounced around a little bit below 700. Now it's pulled back up. It's probably gonna seek the 40-day line. That's what it's sort of looking like. That's what it's sort of looking like to me. Let's take a look to see on the 30-minute chart how it's sort of been trading today. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we're moving up a little bit today, but still, this is just not the time to buy this. Not the time to be in Tesla. I sold out all my positions at about 775, and then I'm going to be waiting probably to come back in. Hopefully, we'll have another opportunity, another bite on the apple with Tesla. But for right now, I think you just have to be out of it. It's just not the time necessarily to be in the stock. So very, very carefully. It's currently trading at 736, which let's pull this chart up again. Yeah, there we go. Okay, let's go full screen. Yeah, it's currently trading at 737 now. And it does look like it's making some headway back up, and the relative strength line has moved up. It's still a 96, so it's very strong. Here's the thing. I want to, it looks as if it has topped a little bit here. I think we're going to have to wait a little bit on this one. This looks like a top. This looks like a top. Let's see if we can regain the 40-day line and possibly the 21-day exponential. If we can regain those and it starts heading up, then I think we might want to buy it. But right now, the trend is decidedly down for Tesla. Decidedly down for Tesla on that. So just one of those things that you can't really deal with. Okay, let's look at Li Auto. This is one of the Chinese EV makers, of course. And along with NIO, it sort of had been making the sort of making some progress here. But as you can see right now, the trend is down on this one. It looks like it may be getting a little bit of support here, but this thing, you just don't want to buy it above below the 40-day line. As you can see, we have a negative correlation here. 40-day line is above the 21-day exponential, is above the 10-day. That tells me that we have more sellers than buyers, and so I think we want to, at least on Li Auto, I think with Li Auto, we want to avoid it right now. I just think we want to avoid Li Auto, because I think that it may be good, but there are other better ones in offering right now. I do think that the automobile group is still really good, but I think the one you want to look at possibly instead of Li Auto is Ford Motor, because it seems like it's starting to make some good moves here. It had this tight consolidation here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit on it. It's a little bit slow. There we go. Okay. It had a little bit of it has a consolidation, as you can see, and about this $12.15 level. It's moving above it, so hopefully it moves all the way above it. I'm going to take a look at the 30-minute chart. Yeah, it's clearly ascending, and it pulled back a little bit. It's still above the buy point of 12.15. So we do have a fair amount of selling just recently, but I do think that it's hard to tell in these 30-minute charts, but I do think we do have a upward trend on Ford. And the advantage, of course, with Ford is that they have real earnings, and they do have quite a line of electric vehicles coming out. So I think they ought to do pretty well. Question on this is a good question. This is a question on a Rent-A-Center, RCII. This is a part of my I have this in the small portfolio. Here's the thing: in order, and this is always so tough. Normally, I like to sell into earnings. I really do, but I do think that Rent-A-Center, I think it will pull back a little bit, but I think that it's poised to possibly move higher. So I'm not going to sell my position of Rent-A-Center. I'm going to hold it through the earnings period because I do think it has some good prospects. I think its checklist is still pretty good, 7 out of 9. In order to make the really big money, a lot of times you have to hold through earnings. It kind of sucks. I like to sell before earnings typically if I'm not 100% committed to the stock, but I think Rent-A-Center is looking pretty good. We have nice funds moving up here, 523. Not the most by any stretch, but still very good. The industry is 50, but the reason I like Rent-A-Center so much is because really Rent-A-Center is not in the business of furniture or electronics or anything else like that. They're basically in the finance business. And there's a whole segment of the American population, I know because I've been in this segment at times in my life too, that basically has limited credit. And where do you go? Well, one of the places you go is Rent-A-Center. If you need furniture, they're going to rent it to you. Now, the rates are astronomical, but this is for about 40% of the U.S. population, this is a very good alternative. So I like Rent-A-Center. I like the business that they're in, and I think they have a growing market. I really do. I think whereas a lot of retailers, are not doing well, this area of the business, I think, has very, very good potential, just because of the way the market is. I just want to kind of give you a look-see at let's look at the weekly chart over a period of time. Yeah, and as you can see, it's moving very, very nicely. It's you know, going all the way back to 2015. You can see here, we're well above the all-time high at about 37.14, and of course the last time it made this kind of movement was back in 2014. So I am, at least for right now, I'm sort of bullish on Rent-A-Center. I do think it has I do think it has some good prospects coming into an opening economy, because I think a lot of people are just going to be credit challenged. Another great question. Thanks, Alex. Question on BP. And British Petroleum, one of the original Seven Sisters. So it trades as an ADR, American Depository Receipt, but really it's kind of like Shell. It's huge in this country. Now, this is one of the integrated majors. They're, of course, the originals were, Senate of New Jersey, Chevron, Texaco, BP, Royal Dutch Shell. So this is a very significant company. Now, here's the thing: it has a relative strength of 19, but in this case, I think you have to discount that a little bit, because the oil sector is so beaten down. Remember, this is from a year. This is a quality company, and it looks like it is just right at a cup with handle first stage base. So the pivot on this is 25.55, and it's 25.36. So here's what I would recommend. I think this is totally buyable, by the way, and I think what you could do on this one, I think what you're going to do on this one, I do think this is probably a good time to buy it, would be to get in at the pivot, which is 25.55. Let me put that up there. 25.55 plus 10 cents, or 25.65. So that's kind of the level that I think, that would be, if you were to set a buy stop limit, basically right at the buy point. Right there is where you would set it. And so as the stock moves higher, you're going to be, as the stock moves higher, then you can buy it. Now, so where I recommend the buy stop limit on this one is at 25.55 plus 10 cents, or 25.65. And I do think this is a quality stock. It has seen decreasing sales. I don't like this, but I do think that with higher oil prices, I do believe oil may go as high as $70-$80. It's already at 60, and it's moving up. They've moved to constrain the world supply of oil, and even though EVs are coming on strong, there's a lot of people that still use gasoline cars. So I do think this is a very good one. It has good cash flows. You can see, this company's been around forever and a day. But it is quality, and whenever normally you don't get an opportunity to buy quality stocks like this. Only do you get them when there's a change in the market. If we see increasing interest rates, and I do believe that we're going to, the price of oil, the price of food will go up. This is the reason why I'm trying to move part of my point, not all of it, but part of it, into these heavily cyclical areas such as oil and gas exploration, and potentially food production. That's one of the reasons I made up the buy on Mosaic that I did, because they're a potash miner, and potash is used as a fertilizer. So it's very important. And as food prices go up because of inflation, these companies will probably benefit. Now, none of these companies are going to be a home run, like with Tesla. So just, it's not unrealistic to think that, these are going to double and triple, but I do think that they will, at least for the time being, I think that they will do probably pretty well. So I think that's a great suggestion on BP. And also, let's look at Ally Bank. Boy, you've gotten two. I think for this rotation, these are two good ones. Ally, of course, is the successor to GMAC, which which has been, which used to finance all the cars, all the GM cars, and a lot of the other ones. Many years ago, when I did sell automobiles, and I actually did at one time in San Francisco when I was in graduate school, we used GMAC financing all the time, and it was really great. Ally Bank is also heavily involved in that business. That's a very profitable business. This is a very nice relative strength line. Ally hasn't really given us any opportunity to essentially buy it on a pullback or even a base pattern, but it just looks like it's right on moving on the 21-day line. Let's kind of look to see, give it kind of the smell test. Wow, this is very good. This is a good stock. 88%. It's got nice funds in it. 1240. They're increasing. The industry is good. It's in the top 60% of the 197 sectors, so that's very good. 75. And we have some new highs in that sector, so that's very, very good. Yeah, this is this is not really a classic growth stock like I would buy, but it is a good stock, and it's a good solid stock, and I do think we're going to see some nice some nice things. So this is definitely very, very much of a buyable stock. Unfortunately, it doesn't have, because of the way it's just moving right up the 21-day exponential, it's, you're not probably going to get, you're probably not going to get as good an opportunity to buy this one as with some of the other ones. But Ally Financial, I definitely think this is a buyable stock, and I think for the money, it's an awful good company. Now, my opinion may change. It may change, but at least for right now, I think Alex, you're going to do very, very well with that stock. I think you are. All right. So, question: what would be the next buy point for Apple, Microsoft, AVGO, and Tesla, or any other stocks you can think that can be bought while on the dip? Good question. Well, as I said, I put out there, I bought a little bit of Ford today at right as it moved above 1214. I think that's a good buy point. Now with Tesla, I think we have to wait for it to pull back and settle. I mean, it's pulled back. It looks like it's settling around the $700 range, but it's not viable right now. So be careful with Tesla. And if you're down any more than 7% on Tesla, sell it and wait for a basing of it. I mean, it's not, it's not going away, but here's the thing. Show you the weekly chart on it. As you can see, I don't know, let's see if I can zoom in a little bit there. As you can see, this is the weekly chart that I'm showing you now, and this is one you really have to kind of look at to see the long term. But as you can see, it pulled back almost all the way to 600. Okay, but it seems to be getting some support, below the 21, below the 40-day line. The correct place to buy Tesla, if you're going to buy it, is as it moves above the 40-day line. So let me get an idea, see if we can give you an idea on that. So for the buy point on Tesla, as it moves above 785 is kind of where you possibly would want to buy it. I may be a buyer at this level. I do think that where you want to buy it is at 785 plus 785 plus about 10 cents, or about 785.10 is kind of, that's going to be the buy point. And what do I mean by this? Well, what I mean by this is I think that this is the correct level to buy it at, right at this line. the 40-day line, but you want to move it as it's moving as it's moving higher. Okay, and you want to move it as it's pulling above this 21-day line. Let's look at the daily chart to kind of see. Yeah, okay. So as you can see, on the daily chart, and it's going to be a little bit different on the daily chart than it is on the weekly chart. It says that this level is about 771. I think that you're better off with the higher buy point at about 785 plus 10 cents. But you want to buy it as it's moving higher. Now it's up 43 cents today. Let's see what it does tomorrow. But if it moves above that 785, then I think we might have a nice reversal, and it probably will move up back into the $800 range. I do think that there is a floor at about 800 here, but you want to see what it does tomorrow. It may pull back, and then it may move higher. But we've had some good buying volume here. We will see, but 785 plus 10 cents, 785.10, and then I think you might get a bump. Right up to maybe about 820. I think it would settle probably at about 820 at the top of the channel there. I think there is a channel on Tesla from about this level here, about 820, all the way down to about where that the 40-day line is. So this is the channel that I think that Tesla is moving into. So if it moves above the 40-day line, then I think that we may have potentially a 30-35% move in Tesla to the upside before it reverses. But I do think that it possibly is a reversal here, because we moved down very quickly, and it looks like we may see a reversal up. I want to see a little bit more volume, but it seems to be coming in. So we may have a reversal on Tesla, and that could be, at least in a short-term trade, that can be very, very good. I probably, if it does move in that, I probably will be a buyer above 785. I probably will be a buyer above 785. Let's look at Microsoft. In Microsoft, I haven't been in for a while, but this is very much of a swing. Yeah, okay, so it went down. It hit the it basically hit the buy point, and the buy point on a consolidation basis is 232. Currently, it's 234, so it's right in the buy zone. You could definitely buy this at this level, but here's the thing: this is a consolidation base. It's got a relative strength of 50. There's some issues here. I'd like to see it pull above the. I'm going to set an alert right here at the 21-day exponential at basically. Let me see if it's not quite that low. I want to see where I want to kind of see where that 21-day line is. It's a 236.99, 237. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to do on this one. I'm going to set an alert at 237. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I do think that if it pulls above that, then it might show a potential for buyability. Right now, I'm not going to set a buy stop limit order, because even though it's in the buy zone, I still think it needs to have more power above that 21-day exponential because of the low relative strength at 50. So that's kind of my thoughts on that one. It's buyable, but I don't think it's set up as well as some of the other ones. But there are some other companies there are some other ones that are setting up. Again, I think Tesla. I like Tesla above about 785 or so. I like it above there because I do think that at that level, we might see potentially as much as a 30-40% move, possibly even a week, up to about the 820 level. That would be on Tesla. I still like the group a lot. Okay, so let's look from Mega Homes. Let's look at Upwork. UPWK is the symbol. UPWK, and let's look at that one. Wow. Okay. Well, it pulled way up and then it pulled. So there's an overhead supply issue here. I want to look at I want to look at a few things here. This is Upwork. As you can see, there's a lot of volume, so a lot of people are there is a lack of supply, which is a good thing. By the way, that's really what pushes up the price of a stock. Even they can have the best earnings in the world, but if there's plenty of people willing to sell, then it doesn't move up in price. If there are people that are not willing to sell, then it moves up in price. It looks as if let's look at I want to look at the 30-minute chart on this one just to kind of see, wow, look at that. It's just moved up tremendously. Let me look at the time frame on this one. Yeah. Okay, this is in this is the weekly chart, and I'm going to the monthly chart. So maybe I can get, there we go. Okay, this is the 30-minute chart, and it popped way up here, and then boom, it sold off. So, okay. With Upwork, it's very volatile, a lot of swings, but this is a strong indicator right here. If you can see this, it's got a very strong, it has this upward motion, but see, here's the problem. It moved way down and then immediately was bought. So this is a programmatic trader here, but strong volume, strong movement up. So it seems like it wants to be right at the 21-day line. It looks as if it's going to bounce off the 21-day line. This is kind of what it's telling me. Let's see the price on that 21-day line. Okay, it's about 50.50. So here's what I think is going to happen probably very quickly. It looks as if it was pulling down. Then there was a really good earnings report, 100%. So it looks as if it's probably going to trade up in the next few days, probably from about 53 to about 60. That would be my guess. So there's potentially as much as about $6 profit there. I'm going to put that down on my list as a reversal. That would be Upwork, UPKW. The UPWK, excuse me, UPWK, Upwork. And I do think it may go up to, it looks like potentially a little above 60. So there may be about $7 profit in there. So that's not bad. Relative strength is 98. So this is looking very good. They had a very good number after the bell. So this probably will open higher. Here's a way that you could probably benefit from that, and this would be to set, let's look at the let's look at the price. Let's look at there, that 12 that is. Here's what I would do on Upwork, and I think there is a potential here, 54.75 for a little bit of a pop. What I would possibly do on Upwork here is I would set a buy stop limit order for 54.75. This is the 10-day line plus 10 cents, or 54.10, and this is I'm going to put the 10-day line. And here's what I mean by that. Tomorrow, when Upwork opens, more than likely we're going to see it probably push up based on this very strong action today. It looks as if it's going to pull above the 10-day line. That's probably the best place to buy it, is right at this 10-day line, because the 10-day line is going to be where the programmatic traders are coming into it. So this is sort of where I would be most interested in buying it as it moves above this 54.10 level, and that's sort of the way. And that's the 10-day line here. This little pink line. So great question. I'm going to put this on my list for buy stop limit. And I want to check a few things here before I give it all go. But yeah, we have a 100% checklist. We have excellent fund ownership. So yeah, here's the thing. I do think this is absolutely viable. And it's viable. And you want to set the buy stop limit order for 54.10. And by the way, if you don't know how to set a buy stop limit order, you can. I have some videos on how to do it. Basically, what the buy stop limit order does is, as the stock moves higher, it buys as it moves through a specific key buy point, like a buy point or a 10-day line or something like that. And so this is a great way to buy stocks. This is where you don't have to hang around, look at your screen. It's always best to buy a stock as it's moving higher rather than it's moving lower. I really don't recommend buying stocks as they move lower because they can continue to go down. So this buy stop limit order allows you to buy a stop as it's moving higher. So the buy stop limit on Upwork, and I do think it's absolutely viable based on the very excellent results that they had, is at 54.75 plus 10 cents. 54.85 is going to give you basically the right level. Did I say that? 54? Oh, I say 54.10. Excuse me, 54. Probably more like 54.85, but right around there. Above that is where you want to be in it. Sometimes I get my numbers. I got to be more careful. I gotta that I give good advice there. But yeah, that's what I would do. Okay, so we did Upwork. Thoughts on Snap? Got upgraded by 10 major banks after projecting 50% growth for multiple years. Okay, well, that can be a very, very good thing. That can be a good catalyst for a stock to move higher. But typically, what I have found is that by the time the banks are upgrading it, the most of the big move has already gone. So that's why I typically try to look to see. I look at the charts to see what the volume and the charts are looking like. But let's look at Snap. Yeah, okay, yeah, it did, but it's pulled back a little bit. I'm gonna put that up on the screen as we speak. There we go. All right, so let's zoom in just a tad. If I can get it to, there we go. A little bit of a, it takes a second for this thing to round trip. So sometimes the controls aren't as fast as I'd like it. Okay, basically right now after hours we're at 69.15 on on Snap. It did pull back, and then all of a sudden there was big buying in here. So it's basically still on this trend that started basically back here. So the trend this is basically the trend. We're still within sort of this channel. So here's the thing on Snap. Based on what I'm seeing here in this channel, it looks as if we're pulling back right now. So I would not be a buyer of Snap, at least not right now. And the reason is because, as you can see, I drew these channel lines here, and it looks as if it has come right to the top of the channel line and then immediately pulled back. So I believe that we're at least in the short term, we're going to be headed a little bit lower on Snap, probably down to about let's look at this level here. See if I can put that in. About to this level. So right now, Snap is pulling back. I would not buy this. It's a great stock. I mean, don't get me wrong, but I think what we have to do on this one is to watch list this one because of the action on that. Even though they were upgraded and everything, I still think that this is essentially a watch list stock here. And, we've got to be a little bit careful on it because it does look like it's pulling back a little bit on there. So let's see. All right. So let's go to the next question. All right, here we go. Hi, Jim. I'm up 20% on HIBB. What's your recommendation for earnings coming up? Sell or sell a cover call or hold through? Wow, good question, Matt. Fantastic. Congratulations on being up 20%. When you're coming into earnings, here's kind of a rule of thumb that a lot of people use, and I do as well. If you're up more than 20% on a position coming through earnings, it possibly is a good time to hold it through earnings. If you're not up 10%, if you're less than 10%, up less than 10%, it's probably a good idea to sell it before you come into earnings. Or if you're up more than 20%, possibly selling a third into cash. But I think you're in a very enviable position. Let me get let me get this up here for you for HIBB. Let's look at it real quick. HIBB. Yeah, Hibbett Sports. Interesting. 101 Hibbett Sports stores. Okay, very cool. It looks like it's just moving right up that 10-day line very nicely. You know, and again, you're right. We're 9 days into earnings, so we've got this very nice channel here. Very, very nice channel. Oops, didn't quite draw that right. Yeah, so it's right on the 10-day line. So this is very, very good. It looks like it's at the top of its. It probably is going to pull back a little bit, but it looks like it's moving up. So, you know, here's the thing. I would hold this into earnings, and I would set my stop loss right at the 10-day line. Actually, a little bit below the 10-day line, because it looks like it's just moving beautifully up the 10-day line. So, here's what I would do. I would set my stop loss at about 63.50 right now, but I'd hold this thing. I would hold this through earnings. I think it's good. You could also sell a covered call. The beauty, of course, of selling a covered call is that you're going to get that income. It's a great way to kind of you know, short it without really shorting it. So that's another option. I think those are both very, very good options. Typically, my rule of thumb is if you're up more than 10% coming into earnings, then it's possibly a good time to hold through earnings. But also, I always recommend trying to take profits because they can be elusive. So you also might consider selling a third of your position and just sort of locking in some of those gains. But congratulations, that's excellent. And yeah, it sounds like you've got a real winner there. All right. Re-entered Bitcoin at 59K. What do you think? Well, okay, let me look at this kind of, you know, that's it. It's been Bitcoin has been very volatile as of late, and it's a tough one to say, but it looks like it's getting some strength. I'm going to show you I'm going to show you the Bitcoin Trust, the GBTC, and kind of give you like I use this as a proxy for Bitcoin, and it looks as if, you know, there's definite support, of course, at 40. We've bounced off the you know, we've bounced off the 21-day exponential. So here's the thing. I do think it looks as if we are back in an upward trend for Bitcoin. It looks like it's bounced off that 21-day line. So, you know, I mean, this is good. Here's the thing. I would set a stop loss at 7% down from where you bought it. So let me just do the math on that. So at about 47,000, 47,500 is where I'd set my stop loss on Bitcoin if you're just after the Bitcoin itself. But I do think that, yeah, it looks as if we're going to see a bounce here. So it's probably in the next 2 or 3 days, it's probably going to move a little bit higher. That's what I'm seeing on the chart, at least based on the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. So it's not a perfect, it doesn't have a perfect correlation, but it seems to be pretty good. So I think at least in the very short term, I think that you know, it's probably going to do very well. All right, thank you, Emmy. What do you think of Ford? Wondering if they'll benefit from Oshkosh winning a contract. You know what? It's great that you mentioned this, Emmy. Thank you so very much for this. I actually bought a Ford today. So let's kind of look in to see kind of how it's doing on that. Kind of move this over a little bit for everybody watching on TikTok. Let's see. I'm going to get another tab in here. And let's look at. I'm going to look at some of this. So what I have. This is called the small portfolio, and this is just stuff that I'm buying positions in. It's not all my portfolios, but it's one that I like to sort of my demonstration portfolio. So let's see how it's doing. It's actually up since I bought it this morning. So, anyways, this is sort of my take on Ford. Here we go. It's going to get hopefully some pictures here in a second. Takes a second. We're still a little bit slow on the. There we go. So I'm up a little bit as of this morning. I'm up on Ford. This is you know, I almost went all to cash, and I've been kind of moving more into a reopening trade here now with some of my positions. This is really, been sort of what what I've been up to in terms of in terms of that. Oops, let's go. Come on, let's go up a little bit. Oh, there we go. All right, so you can see it. I have a full position in Ford. As you see, I'm 50% in cash. Rent-A-Center, Halliburton, Mosaic, and Ford. I just bought Ford today. Small position, but it's a full position and it's up. So I'm very bullish on Ford. My buy point was 12.24. The actual buy point, and I do think we're going to probably see Ford move up tomorrow a little bit, because the real buy point is about 225 on Ford. So Ford is looking very good right now, but we'll see. It's always such a mixed bag, with that. But I'm going to pull up the actual Ford chart here. There we go, and give a look for you, Emmy. Thanks for this question. This is a very good, very timely question, by the way. Zoom in a little bit. And the thing about Ford is, the company's it's like over 100 years old, but once they get going, I think that they're going to be very formidable when it comes to electric vehicles, because they have the manufacturing capacity. They may not have technology that Tesla has, but they have the manufacturing capacity, and they can produce a lot of vehicles. This is the daily chart for Ford. Basically, what we have here, and I want to show you the weekly chart, because this is a classic 3-week tight pattern. Okay, and this is sort of, and see, it's just emerging from this 3-week tight pattern. So hopefully, if this is right, we should see it. We should see it move up here. There's a consolidation here, and then there's a 3-week tight pattern, and so this is looking fairly decent. This is looking fairly decent. So it's still a little bit early. The real buy point, and it looks like it is slightly off, but it's still holding above that 1214 level, which is so key for Ford. But yeah, I think that's got some good opportunities there. Hey, great question. Thank you. From Norway. Well, thank you for watching from Norway. We got some of, by the way, here in Texas, we got some of your weather from Norway. We're not used to that cold, but I've never visited Norway. I certainly want to, because I watch these shows on YouTube about these train treks through Norway, and it's just so beautiful. I can't believe it. Anyways, I digress. Let's go to ABR and see. Norway is one of my bucket list for everyone out there. It's one of my bucket list countries. I want to see it, because everything I see about it just looks so beautiful. It just looks wonderful, like almost a fairy tale land. Okay, this is Arbor Realty Trust, invested in real estate, mezzanine level. Okay, so this is essentially a workout company. I would be a little bit careful in this area, Harvard. I would, because I think that it's a little bit dangerous. The real estate market is dicey. But that said, I mean, look at this checklist: 88%. The ownership is very strong, and but it's a little bit low in the industry sector, but it's only a relative strength of 73. Here's what I would say about Arbor Realty Trust, just based on a very, very quick overview of it. I think that I want to see some more strength in this before I would buy it. Right now, I think Arbor Realty Trust is essentially a watch list. It's a good company, and I do like the financing aspect, because I do think it's good. I think we're seeing some nice pickup in terms of volume here. That's one of the things I always look for. There's strong volume in the last few days, but it is above. There was a buy point on a flat base at 14.95. We're above that. So I think it's really kind of, it's on the watch list, but it really, in this case, I think that it's extended. That's kind of how I see it. So it's a little bit dangerous to buy this extended. It's still a good stock, but it's extended. I really think that, I want to see it either form another base or pull back down into that buy zone right now. But it's extended right now. I think it's also buying a little bit high, but I really appreciate the question very, very much. And I appreciate you looking all the way in from beautiful Norway. So That's what I would say. I think Arbor Trust is a little bit extended. I think you want to be careful. Hey, fantastic, Arnold. You made $1,500 a day SQQ first hour of trading. Awesome. Doesn't get better than that. Doesn't get better than that. Whenever there's a change, the SQQ can sometimes really be an excellent one. So congratulations to Arnold out there. And let's kind of look at the SQQQ, see how it's been trading. For everybody out there that doesn't know this, the SQQQ is essentially a leveraged ETF that trades against the Qs, the QQQ. So if the QQQ is going down, the SQQQ is going up. As you can see, and this is a tremendous trade that Arnold made. It came right out of the gate, boom, and whenever we get a change in the market like this, SQQQ can be a very good trade. It went pulled up and then boom, it pulled out. When you're handling the SQQQ, it's sort of a hot potato, but the best way to do it is to sort, when you buy it, start putting in those trades, and when it spikes up and then when it pulls back, boom, you're a winner. So congratulations to Arnold. I wish I paid that trade. I gotta eat my own dog food. That's great. Let's look at CrowdStrike. That's another one that is a very interesting. In the interconnected world, I think CrowdStrike, has a real future because there's so many people that are getting hacked, and they're sort of the experts at that forensics type stuff. Here we go with CrowdStrike. We pulled below the 40-day line here, so and then it pulled back up. So it seems to be settling right at the 40-day line. We'll see if it's a reversal. Right now, I wouldn't buy it at this level. I'd wait for it to move above this green line here, which is the 21-day exponential, and that is at. Let me give you that exact number. Yeah, right now the 21-day exponential is 225. So here's if you're interested in CrowdStrike and making a play on CrowdStrike, don't buy it now. Wait until it moves above 225, and then I think you might have a very good buy on it. It's got a tremendous track list, 88% there. A lot of the funds are owning it. 11, yeah, so that's excellent. It's a little bit low on the industry ranking because the security software, it has been strong, but there is some movement out of that. This is what I was talking about with the rotation. There's been some rotation out of some of the growth stocks, software security being one of the major ones, into some of the more cyclical areas such as oil and gas and that kind of thing. So that's a little bit concerning. But here's the thing. I think it is a good stock, but right now, if you wanted to make an early play on it, I think it is going to reverse, but I would make sure that I bought it above the 225 mark. But right now, if it were me, I probably would not be jumping in it. I would instead, and this is what I do, I kind of put things on the watch list, get them ready, and then if it's right, I'll set a buy stop limit order, and then if it confirms, then I'm in it. So that's sort of how I handle it. But it's a good stock. I just think right now you may have to give it a little bit of a rest because of everything that's been happening in the market. Okay, well, let's see if I can get a question from TikTok. Thank you for holding on here. I've been taking all these questions from YouTube. By the way, if you are interested, and I would really recommend this because that way it keeps up with everything. Subscribing to our free action trade alerts, and they're very easy to do. All you have to do is go to www. Dallas Trading Floor and first and last name, and of course you can quit anytime you like, totally free. And we send out these little emails that we send out on some of the trades that I'm doing, such as the spreads and stuff like that, as I'm entering them. And I don't really have enough time to go over them totally on the show because I go into more detail typically in the action trade alert and send it out to everyone. But you got to be on the list for it. So the way you get on the list, super easy, on www. Dallas Trading Floor, and sign up for the action trailers. And if you're looking on TikTok, I'm also simulcasting this, by the way, on YouTube. So if you missed anything, in about 30 minutes, the whole show will be on there with all the charts and everything like that. You can also sign up for the action trade alerts. All you have to do is go to my profile, hit the link, and you'll be taken directly to another little menu kind of thing. It says beacons. That's what it says. And it'll show the past show and also the ability to sign up for the action trade alerts. And so you get on that list too. And of course, it's all free. Well, I have time for one last question because it's almost an hour. I so enjoy everybody here coming in and taking taking the time with me. Oh, okay. I'm going to do this one for John. Thanks, John. They blocked. It's interesting. They blocked GameStop again. I tell you, that's the problem. They're they're really screwing the little guy. I really am angry with Robinhood. I think that they have done a lot of people disservice. I don't normally rag on companies, but I just think it's been terrible what they've done with some of the investors on GameStop. Yeah, and it looks like it is starting to take off after hours. Look at that. So we have another run on GameStop going on. You're absolutely right. Here it is. Here it is after hours. Look at that. This is live. So interesting. How do we get in on this one? Well, I don't know if we can if they'll let us get in on this one. But let's kind of I'm going to zoom in on the actual live chart, the one I have here, and it's up $32. Look at that. It's up $32. It's currently okay. So we have a secondary. It looks like we have a secondary blow off chop. Okay, here's how you want to trade this if you're interested. If you can buy it tomorrow, and this is going to be difficult. If you can buy it tomorrow, and I'm just gonna put the line. If you can buy it, right about there, which is what it's saying. It's about 125. If you can buy it right about there, then immediately put in a stop loss. And then keep moving that stop loss up, because this will do the same thing as it did before. It'll come up like this, and then it'll come like way back down. Let's look at the. Let's look quickly at the short interest. I think this is probably another short interest situation. So let's look at that short interest. Yeah, 85% short interest on this. Basically, with GameStop, what's going on here is 85% of all the shares are short now. So these people could be, we could see another short squeeze on this. This is why they're restricting people. To buy it. But it looks as if this could be another blow off top tomorrow. So here's the strategy. If you do get in, if you are able to buy GameStop tomorrow, immediately put in a stop loss. Have it pre-calculated. Put that stop loss in immediately, and market stop loss, not a trailing stop loss, a market stop loss. So if it pulls below there, you're sold out, because this thing is going to move very, very strongly tomorrow. It's going to move strong, and then it's going to pull back. So the way you can benefit from this is getting in, moving that stop loss up, and then when it pulls back, hopefully you will be in with some good swag there. Some good swag. Thank you very much, John. Thank you very, very much for that. I may try to analyze this overnight and do an action trade alert on this to see, if we can get a plan possibly before morning. It's going crazy. It's up 133 right now. So without further ado, thank you very, very much for tuning in. If you want to get on the action trade alerts, I'm going to be doing probably an action trade alert on GameStop to look at it, to see if there's a way that we could possibly get in it. And I will try to be sending that out late tonight or early tomorrow, but you got to be on the list in order to get this. And the way you get on the list, of course, is by going to www. Dallas Trading Floor. And by the way, if you're watching this on YouTube, would love it if, of course, very much if you were to subscribe to it, and of course like it very much. I would hope you do that. I'm gonna a little guy there to like it very much. Well, it's all for an hour, and everybody, and it's a pleasure to come to you today. I'll be back tomorrow about 2:30. Again, I'm going to look to see if I can put together a trading plan possibly for GameStop tomorrow. Until then, happy trading.